simplified. If you're starting the new IB Computer Science course or teaching it for the first time, this video will give you a complete overview of what has changed and what you need to focus on. By the end of this video, hopefully you'll understand the structure of the course, the new topics, and how to prepare effectively for first examinations next year in 2027. So, the old course had remained largely unchanged. I think 2014 was the first year, and it's not really changed since then. It became a little bit outdated, if I'm being honest. So the IB's redesigned it to better reflect modern technology and the skills used in industry. I think it's a positive change of what they've done, and it is a little bit more in line with what's happening in the world now. So you'll encounter new topics such as machine learning, which is really interesting, object-oriented programming, and computational thinking in a much more structured way than what was there before. Okay. The new syllabus is organised around several core themes. You'll study how computers work internally, how networks operate, how data is stored and managed, how machine learning systems function, and how to solve problems through programming. One of the big changes is in the importance of programming. So before, it was a lot of pseudocode. It was mainly based around Java. There was a paper 2 with different options, which were object-oriented programming, web design, databases, and another one that I've forgotten. So it's increased its importance. Now you can either write in Python or Java. In paper 2, you get to choose which one you want to do. So you're expected to write and understand real code. Python is probably going to be the most common one because it's used, from my experience, mainly in IGCSE and GCSEs, so it's probably an easier step to continue with Python rather than moving to Java. But if you've got a preference of Java, then that's entirely up to you. The difficulty in both is exactly the same. So if you're doing the paper in Python or Java, the difficulty doesn't change. A completely new addition is machine learning. So students don't need to become data scientists, but they need to understand the basic concepts of how it works and how they're trained and evaluated and used in real world. So maybe you'll get to actually train some machine learning models that you create and test it and look at pattern recognition and ethically whether this is right or wrong. And I'll leave it up to you to decide. It's not for me to say. Then we've also got databases in SQL. If you did option A as a teacher, this is quite similar. It's maybe not as in-depth as what would have been there before, because obviously it's part of a bigger syllabus rather than just being one option. So it's main part of the course again. Students you need to become comfortable with writing SQL queries, which for me is my favourite language because it's basically English and it's not changed for 60, 70 years, which is quite nice, and most businesses will be using it. And understand how data is organised and connected inside a relational database. If you had done option A before, there is a bit of a link between machine learning and databases. So if you have done that as a teacher, then you might be a little bit more familiar with this bits. That's what I did for my students. So what should you focus on? You should spend most of your time focusing on programming. There's an entire second paper on programming databases, as if you've done IGCSE, and I say that because that's the one that I teach. Databases isn't very in-depth at IGCSE, it's quite simple. So that might be an area you need to look at in order to sort of up yourself for IB. These provide you good opportunities to gain marks while also developing skills that you would actually use in the real world. Then also maybe look at networks and machine learning, just because there might be something new that you've not seen before. So how do you get a 7? So students who achieve the highest grade don't just memorise content. It's quite different to maybe what you'd have done in GCSE, IGCSE, whatever you studied before, where it is a lot of just learning content. Normally at the IB, you have to put these things into practice. So you need to understand them deeply, practice programming, become familiar with the style of questions used by examiners, because it's quite different. So in the next videos, we're going to look into each topic in detail, starting with SQL, machine learning and Python. So we're studying the new 2027 syllabus. Subscribe so you don't miss future revision and exam preparations. Thank you.